All right, so we just got a good laugh for the morning or afternoon, wherever you are, depending on where you are and what time you're watching. We're on chapter 17, section 7 in A Course in Miracles, the call for faith. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and start reading. The substitutes for aspects of the situation are the witnesses to your lack of faith. They demonstrate that you did not believe the situation and the problem were in the same place. The problem was the lack of faith, and it is this you demonstrate when you remove it from its source and place it elsewhere. As a result, you do not see the problem. Had you not lacked faith that it could be solved, the problem would be gone. And the situation would have been meaningful to you because the interference in the way of understanding would have been removed. To remove the problem elsewhere is to keep it, for you remove yourself from it and make it unsolvable. There is no problem in any situation that faith will not solve. There is no shift in any aspect of the problem, but will make solution impossible. For if you shift part of the problem elsewhere, the meaning of the problem must be lost, and the solution to the problem is inherent in its meaning. Is it not possible that all your problems have been solved, but you have removed yourself from the solution? Yet faith must be where something has been done and where you see it done. A situation is a relationship, being the joining of thoughts. If problems are perceived, it is because the thoughts are judged to be in conflict. But if the goal is truth, this is impossible. Some ideas of bodies must have entered, for minds cannot attack. The thought of bodies is the sign of faithlessness, for bodies cannot solve anything. It is their intrusion on the relationship, an error in your thoughts about the situation, which then becomes the justification for your lack of faith. You will make this error, but be not at all concerned with that. The error does not matter. Faithlessness brought to faith will never interfere with truth. But faithlessness used against truth will always destroy faith. If you lack faith, ask that it be restored where it was lost, and seek not to have it made up to you elsewhere, as if you had been unjustly deprived of it. Only what you have not given can be lacking in any situation. But remember this, the goal of holiness was set for your relationship and not by you. You did not set it because holiness cannot be seen except through faith. And your relationship was not holy because your faith in your brother was so limited and little. Your faith must grow to meet the goal that has been set. The goal's reality will call this forth, for you will see that peace and faith will not come separately. What situation can you be in without faith and remain faithful to your brother? Every situation in which you find yourself is but a means to meet the purpose set for your relationship. See it as something else, and you are faithless. Use not your faithlessness. Let it enter and look upon it calmly, but do not use it. Faithlessness is the servant of illusion and wholly faithful to its master. Use it, and it will carry you straight to illusions. Be tempted not by what it offers you. It interferes not with the goal, but with the value of the goal to you. Accept not the illusion of peace it offers, but look upon its offering and recognize it is illusion. The goal of illusion is as closely tied to faithlessness as faith to truth. If you lack faith in anyone to fulfill, and perfectly, his part in any situation dedicated in advance to truth, your dedication is divided. And so you have been faithless to your brother and used your faithlessness against him. No relationship is holy unless its holiness goes with it everywhere. As holiness and faith go hand in hand, so must its faith go everywhere with it. The goal's reality will call forth and accomplish every miracle needed for its fulfillment. Nothing too small or too enormous, too weak or too compelling, but will be gently turned to its use and purpose. The universe will serve it gladly as it serves the universe. But do not interfere. The power set in you, in whom the Holy Spirit's goal has been established, is so far beyond your little conception of the infinite that you have no idea how great the strength that goes with you. And you can use this in perfect safety. Yet for all its might, so great it reaches past the stars and to the universe that lies beyond them, your little faithlessness can make it useless if you would use the faithlessness instead. Yet think on this and learn the cause of faithlessness. You think you hold against your brother what he has done to you, but what you really blame him for is what you did to him. It is not his past, but yours you hold against him. And you lack faith in him because of what you were. Yet you are as innocent of what you were as he is. What never was is causeless and is not there to interfere with truth. There is no cause for faithlessness, but there is cause for faith. That cause has entered any situation that shares its purpose. The light of truth shines from the center of the situation and touches everyone to whom the situation's purpose calls. It calls to everyone. There is no situation that does not involve your whole relationship in every aspect and complete in every part. You can leave nothing of yourself outside it and keep the situation holy, for it shares the purpose of your whole relationship and derives its meaning from it. Enter each situation with the faith you give your brother, or you are faithless to your own relationship. Your faith will call the others to share your purpose, as the same purpose called forth the faith in you. And you will see the means you once employed to lead you to illusions transformed to means for truth. Truth calls for faith, and faith makes room for truth. When the Holy Spirit changed the purpose of your relationship by exchanging yours for his, the goal he placed there was extended to every situation in which you enter or will ever enter. And every situation was thus made free of the past, which would have made it purposeless. You call for faith because of him who walks with you in every situation. You're no longer wholly insane, nor no longer alone. For loneliness in God must be a dream. You whose relationship shares the Holy Spirit's goal are set apart from loneliness because the truth has come. Its call for faith is strong. Use not your faithlessness against it, for it calls you to salvation and to peace. Good to see you, Tim and Cynthia. Chapter 17, section 7, the call for faith we just read. It's interesting, when I first started reading, I was thinking how, when we see our brother as a body, we've already lost it, right? We've lost the connection. So how great would it be if everybody had a t-shirt that said, I am not a body, just so you could remember, like when someone comes into your physical awareness, I am not a body. Oh, okay, right. That's right. That would be awesome, right? Or maybe a sticker on maybe we should just have tattoos. I'm not a body right on our forehead. Something that would never come off.
Oh boy. Terry, could you expand a little bit on the first part of paragraph 8? Because I get myself really confused on this. If you think you hold against your brother what he has done to you, but what you really blame him for is what you did to him.
Yeah.
It is not his past, but yours you hold against him, and you lack faith in him because of what you were.
Yeah.
I'm having a really hard time sorting that out in my head, especially the part about what you hold against your brother is really about what you did to him.
Okay, so
I'm
let's
confused.
let's think about this for a minute. So number one, your opinion of me is none of my business, right? So
Yeah.
think about that in relationship to your brother. So your opinion of your brother is none of your brother's business, right? Because it has nothing to do with him. It has everything to do with you and your past experiences, your past beliefs that you're projecting onto your brother. Maybe something in the past that he had done to you, right? And you're like, oh, here we go again, right? So all of that past stuff is coming from you to him. You're projecting it out there. And that's why you're holding it against your brother, right? And it's not what he has done to you. You really blame him for what you did to him, right? So think about this. I'm really upset with, my partner for this thing, right? But in essence, I didn't stand up for myself when I should have, right? I didn't hold my brother in faith at this place. I saw him as a body. I didn't see the Christ in him, right? So I've already judged him wrongly because I'm not seeing him as he is. I'm seeing him as a body. So it's
And that's
not
what you did to him.
That's what I did to him. I didn't see him as my brother who is there offering me another opportunity to love myself. Instead, I took the problem and took it out and put it someplace else. So I don't even know what the problem is now. It's just everything in my mind that's based on a past situation is what I'm projecting onto my brother.
Okay.
And I'm making it real, and it's not real. So I've just created this illusory situation that's not real and now can't be solved because I've removed the problem and I put it someplace else.
Man, that's a tough one, but that helps. Thank you.
Okay.
I can expand on a little bit, not that I'm any expert at this at all, but in my life, there's well, I've got all kinds of examples, but I'm not going to mention anyone personally, but I tend to hold each one where they have been in my memory, my experience, and therefore I limit them to the past. And isn't the present is shut out, and I project that past onto the future by expecting the same kind of behavior, the same kind of reactions. So, I might not trust somebody, or might not have faith in somebody's capabilities, or just whatever, just expecting this is what I'm going to get from them. So I don't offer out of, well, I already know what they're going to do. So I don't offer the higher road, which is absolutely ridiculous, because that's the only road. The rest of the stuff is literally is make believe. We make these decisions and somebody else is making another decision about that same person, and somebody else sees them another way. Well, are they all those different ways? I don't think so. Yeah, there's some agreement in the tendencies of a certain person, but again, that's only the limitations that our observations put on us and on them from our previous experience. So it's like driving a car, looking in the rearview mirror or something really absurd. Anyway, enough.
Yeah, that's a good point, Tim. And it all goes back to expectations, right? If we can relinquish expectations
Yeah.
and find that happiness and that love within ourselves, instead of looking for it out here, then we have no expectations out here. All we are is we just show up in happiness and we say, how can I be of service?
Yeah, he says in there, I'm only here to be truly helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Right.
truly helpful if you give me a meal, you know,
Right.
or whatever, you know, it should be truly helpful, because that's what Christ is. That's what this consciousness is, that if we deviate from it, we're immediately cut off. Any decision to hold back for one person, and I have a certain person in mind, and we won't go there, but you know, I think again, it helps if you have been immersed in that place of, oh my God, it's like I'm a little kitty and I'm being constantly hugged, and everything that I want is given to me, but the real stuff that I want, not, I'm not being fed candy or whatever. It again, it's, oh, we got to read this. I'm kind of botching it up, but that's what it feels like, is this constant love coming in, and you know you have to give it away, and there's nobody that you're not going to give it to, because you innately know that negative part about that person is not true. It's just not true. Anyway, thanks for listening.
It's interesting because even in that paragraph, Alicia, it says there is no situation that does not involve your whole relationship in every aspect and complete in every part. You can leave nothing of yourself outside it and keep the situation holy, for it shares the purpose of your whole relationship and derives its meaning from it. And there was another part in there that said something about once you establish truth in the beginning. What paragraph was that? That really kind of hit home to me too.
It's part in paragraph 6 where it says if sentence 2, if you lack faith in anyone to fulfill imperfectly his part in any situation dedicated in advance to truth,
That's it.
your
That's
dedication
it.
is divided. So it's sentence 2 and 3 in paragraph 6.
Yes. And, you know, and I go back to that too, because, you know, in my more recent relationships that I've had, I have, you know, dedicated in advance to truth. And we have talked about, you know, the purpose of our relationship. We talked about, you know, the meaning of our relationship, and it's dedicated to truth, and it's for the purpose of expansion and love and growth. And then, you know, when you see your partner shifting, instead of like immediately bringing them back because that feels like too much work, it's easier for the ego to jump in and go, ha, you're not holding up your end of the bargain. Look what you just did there. Look what you did. You know, you're not keeping up your half of the bargain. Instead of going back and going, okay, wait a minute, let's come back. Let's remember what we, you know, decided to do here, and let's reclaim that holy relationship again. But that ego wants to cause trouble, right? And he wants to send out his messengers to look for fault and look for judgment and say, you did this thing, or you said this thing, and you know, that's not part of our agreement.
Yeah, I like that. Also, I'm reminded of, I believe he said, you know, he's like the shepherd and we're the flock. And before that, I had this vision of herding thousands of kittens. Just, I mean, whatever. And that led me to that. And then, you know, there's the one where he is the vine, and we are the branches, and we bear fruit. So Anyway,
Yeah, good point.
You're feeling like, the thing is that we feel like we're attacked, so we attack back. And that's
Yeah.
not right. That's not the concept that the Course talks about.
Right.
It's maintaining that holy relationship, right? In the face of feeling like you're being attacked.
Right. That's why the Course says all attack is merely a call for love.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just remembering all of that. We talked early when we were just discussing before we even started reading that it's that vigilance, that's required to watch over your thoughts and watch over your alliances. Are you aligned with love, or are you aligned with fear? And bringing it back.
Yeah. Well, we live in a world of fear. It's a very deep challenge sometimes, because we do it without even thinking. We strike back, right? And then all of a sudden, if you catch yourself in the moment, you can say, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that." If you can catch yourself.
Yeah.
We get caught up in the whirlwind.
Yeah. Or we get caught up in the world of illusion. If we can optimize our environment and provide ourselves with, an environment more conducive to peace and love, then maybe we'd be less likely to jump into that, starting our days with gratitude and then going into intentions and turning off the news and just, maybe having that connection to Holy Spirit and to love and to the higher self.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Cynthia's puppy. Oh, he's so cute. All right, shall we keep going to the conditions of peace? Looks like that's what we are looking to create. Let's see how we do that. The conditions of peace. The holy instant is nothing more than a special case or an extreme example of what every situation is meant to be. The meaning that the Holy Spirit's purpose has given it is also given to every situation. It calls forth just the same suspension of faithlessness, withheld and left unused, that faith might answer the call of truth. The holy instant is the shining example, the clear and unequivocal demonstration of the meaning of every relationship and every situation, seen as a whole. Faith has accepted every aspect of the situation, and faithlessness has not forced any exclusion on it. It is a situation of perfect peace, simply because you have let it be what it is. This simple courtesy is all the Holy Spirit asks of you. Let truth be what it is. Do not intrude upon it. Do not attack it. Do not interrupt its coming. Let it encompass every situation and bring you peace. Not even faith is asked of you, for truth asks nothing. Let it enter, and it will call forth and secure for you the faith you need for peace. But rise you not against it, for against your opposition, it cannot come. Would you not want to make a holy instant of every situation? For such is the gift of faith, freely given wherever faithlessness is laid aside, unused. And then the power of the Holy Spirit's purpose is free to use instead. This power instantly transforms all situations into one sure and continuous means for establishing his purpose and demonstrating its reality. What has been demonstrated has called for faith and has been given it. Now it becomes a fact from which faith can no longer be withheld. The strain of refusing faith to truth is enormous and far greater than you realize. But to answer truth with faith entails no strain at all. To you who have acknowledged the call of your Redeemer, the strain of not responding to his call seems to be greater than before. This is not so. Before, the strain was there, but you attributed it to something else, believing that the something else produced it. this was never true. For what the something else produced was sorrow and depression, sickness and pain, darkness and dim imaginings of terror, cold fantasies of fear and fiery dreams of hell. And it was nothing but the intolerable strain of refusing to give faith to truth and see its evident reality. Such was the crucifixion of the Son of God. His faithlessness did this to him. Think carefully before you let yourself use faithlessness against him. For he is risen, and you have accepted the cause of his awakening as yours. You have assumed your part in his redemption, and you are now fully responsible to him. Fail him not now, for it has been given you to realize what your lack of faith in him must mean to you. His salvation is your only purpose. See only this in every situation, and it will be a means for bringing only this. When you accepted truth as the goal for your relationship, you became a giver of peace, as surely as your Father gave peace to you. For the goal of peace cannot be accepted apart from its conditions. And you had faith in it, for no one accepts what he does not believe is real. Your purpose has not changed and will not change, for you accepted what can never change. And nothing that it needs to be forever changeless can you now withhold from it. Your release is certain. Give as you have received, and demonstrate that you have risen far beyond any situation that could hold you back and keep you separate from him whose call you answered. Kind of reminds me of like a lot of the times when I've been like so terrified of something happening, or when I've felt so alone or depressed, and you completely have lost faith and lost your connection to that one mind of the universe, of love, of God, whatever you want to call it, right? And this is basically what it's saying is the condition of peace is just simply to remember who you are. Remember that you're connected to that one mind of God and peace always. And that's the purpose for all of your relationships, right? Like going forward, what is the, like going to the store? What is the purpose of my relationship with the cashier? To see that person as one with me, as one with God, to see everybody everywhere as connected and as one with me.
Yeah.
All relationships. It's easy to see it in our pets, right?
Mm.
Simple concept, but not easy.
Right? Practice, practice, practice.
Mm.
There's some days I'm like tired. It's like, oh my God, it's a 24/7 vigilance. And there's just some days like I've heard people tell stories about, I just want to throw my book through the window, because it's just like at every turn and you try to apply it. And then another situation comes and then you forget everything you ever learned, and the ego breaks through, and then everything, your conversation is ego based. And then you get back into class, and then you go, oh my God, I didn't handle that very well. And then the whole cycle of then, okay, I didn't handle it well, beat yourself up a little bit, and then figure out how in that moment, the next time the opportunity presents itself, you're going to come back to that, place of love for your brother, regardless of the situation, and keep your cool. And I don't know, there's some days I want to throw my hands in the air and just say, you know what, nothing like I was 25 years ago, but hothead. Like there's times I just want to go off, and sometimes I don't have a huge filter, and then I think, oh my God, well, this isn't consistent with ACIM. But it's like for me, sometimes I feel that the application of all of this and trying to always think of my peaceful place and that soft place to fall and everything, at the end, maybe it's my lack of faith, but it doesn't bring me the peace that I'm looking for. I still have this undercurrent of agita and the ego either wanting to figure something out or wanting to have the last word or wanting to be right. And I embrace that fully as part of who I've always been. And maybe I need to not focus so much on the fact that I don't like those parts of myself and like I need fixing. I guess my thing is coming back to just loving and accepting me for me in this moment. And there's some days I just want to throw my hands up in the air, like I give up. I can't do, I actually think and say, I can't do this. I cannot get there. How do people get there? How do you stay in that space? I get glimpses and so, and then just get sucked back out. And then again, I don't have a tremendous amount of patience for the fact that I know this is a process, but excuse me, I look over my shoulder, even though Carl said, don't look over your shoulder, you're not going that way. But I consider the amount of time invested in learning and applying these things as best I can. And here I sit 6 weeks into one of the worst funks I think I've had probably in close to 20 years, not to the same degree, but there's weird juju. There's weird juju in the air. I don't know what it is, but something for me personally is off. And other people who seem to be sensitive to things like that are saying the same thing. And I don't like it a whole lot. So I don't know if anybody else is has periodic episodes of this same feeling. And I know that, it's that one lovely lady that was on, I believe last week or the week before, and said she'd been studying the course on and off for 40 years. And she would go to it and then she would put the book down, and then she would go to it and put down. And I've been pretty consistent for like 12 years. But this is the first time I've ever felt like I think I need to close this and put it down for a while. And then that kind of scares me too, because this is my one thing that brings me back to the things to focus on that will actually bring me that peace and understanding and acceptance of myself, and also acceptance of others where there's still a place of judgment. That's my sermon for the day.
That's awesome, Alicia. I'm so glad you shared that, because there's a lot of people feeling the way you feel. And I think there's many factors. A lot of what you're experiencing, people, because of the pandemic, are really being affected in a very similar way. And I think that perhaps if you didn't have A Course in Miracles, it might be a lot worse.
Yeah.
So, from that perspective, I don't think you're alone. I think it's a lot more widespread, but I can tell you that there are things you can do. I don't know what you've done to like optimize your personal space and environment, like what you're listening to, what you're watching, what you're surrounding yourself with, the conversations you're having with people, because all of those things are going to impact how you're feeling.
Yeah.
That is one of her biggest problems right now.
Yeah.
Is that,
Chaos at my house.
yes, that's
Carl was
why
here
they're
last
feeling that
weekend.
way.
My house, Terry, is torn apart. I had a contractor come in at the end of December, redo my downstairs bathroom, which morphed into, oh, you're going to be gone for a couple of weeks here. Let's redo your kitchen ceiling, which is all well and good. Then it was, okay, strip off all the wallpaper, get it ready. We'll put a thin coat on, you can paint, and then we'll come back and do your shower doors, and everything is left undone. There's dust everywhere. There's piles of junk everywhere. There's boxes of stuff that came out from my old bathroom vanity. There was a leak under my kitchen sink. Everything from under the kitchen sink is, I have got like to the point where I'm like mental, because I can't get, and unfortunately to resurrect that and move forward with getting these projects done, I'm kind of at the mercy of a contractor who promised me at the beginning of this job. I said out loud, please do not come in here and then leave to do another job until this one is done. Don't worry, Dolly, I won't do that to you, because he's done it to me before. And exactly what I put out there that I asked him, please don't do that. And I was assured that he wouldn't. This is exactly what's happened. And it's driving me nuts. So my environment is cluttered. So my head is cluttered. My heart is cluttered. And I've got anxiety like through the roof. And then on top of this, I even decided last week, I said, I'm going to go back in the workforce 10 hours a week, not in a capacity as a physical therapist. Healthcare is broken. I don't want the responsibility of the documentation and all of that stuff. I'll just do something different. And then it's funny when I'm signing on board with this company, my password is an acronym for, do I really want this to get me out of retirement? Question mark. It's, I was like, because I don't know. And everything is all so upended and I can't stand it. And I can't find my place of peace with everything so open-ended, like literally.
That's what needs to change.
Thanks, Carl. It does need to change. How the hell am I supposed to do that?
Hey, watch it, Dirt Road.
Have you
Work
ever
with me
seen,
here. You know
have you
how
ever
I'm
seen
wrapped.
Bewitched?
What is wrong with you?
Nothing's wrong with me.
Don't tell me that. That's like throwing a cup of gasoline on a bonfire. You know that. Again, we're back to that hothead thing. Remember? Did I just
Yep.
not say that?
I'm
Carl,
4
can you
hours
put a-
away.
Can you put a sticker on your forehead, Carl, that says, I am not a body?
Oh, that's on my inner eyelids.
It's on your eyelids.
So yeah, that's a perfect example. And you're right. I mean, things like this happen and they knock us out of our center and they bring us into a place of chaos. And how do we recover, right? How do you get back on center from all of that? You've got to have a toolbox. You know, you've got to have a toolbox and say, my house is torn apart. Contractor's not calling me back. These are things that I can't control, but what can I control?
Yeah.
I can control how I feel right now. And if I can't, then we ask the Holy Spirit, right? Because we always forget, because we're always trying to fix it ourselves. We close our eyes and say, I don't
Yeah.
have a resolution to this. I give this to you. This
I've
holy
been serving it up on a platter.
Yep, this holy instant I give to you, be you in charge, and just let it all go.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Well, part of my coping has been to run away. I've been doing a lot of traveling. I've been out and about. I went to California in January to see my daughter, and then I went to Charleston to meet up with 2 college friends and go to a concert 2 weekends ago. Carl was here this last weekend. We went to a concert. We went to a hockey game. It distracted me. This past weekend, I went up to see my brother in Troy. So my tactic right now that is not serving me is avoidance, and I
Mhm.
fully recognize it. Like I haven't turned, and the TV needs to stay off. Don't watch the news. I don't watch any of that, but it's very easy for me to get sucked into mindless nonsense that doesn't serve me either. TV hasn't gone on at all. So as far as I haven't been listening to podcasts and stuff, and it's partially because I am pushing back. And it kind of goes along with my wanting. I don't want, if I hear one more freaking thing about the oneness, I'm going to kill someone, that kind of thing. I just want, I don't want to, no, I don't want to listen to a podcast. So that's kind of where I'm at. But now I'm here. I don't have anything upcoming. So my goal for today is I did begin by cleaning out the vanity in the bathroom. I'm going to begin to put stuff back and try to put things back into order as best I can. I haven't reached out to him. I haven't heard from him in 3 weeks. And I think he's probably afraid. And I would be if I was him too. So I'm going to reach out and just say, hey, when do you think you can come back? And when do you think you can finish what you started? And that would be very helpful. Thank you very much.
You're
And
fired.
I mean, this too will work itself out. What was that, Carl?
You're fired.
You're freaking fired.
Yeah.
But I can't fire him now because I'm not kidding you. It's in such a state of disarray. And because this is an old house, every bit of demolition has resulted in a 1/4 inch thick of dust everywhere. And I dusted and it's back the next day. So that for me is frustrating. It's that wheel spinning kind of thing. So I fully have faith this too shall pass, just like everything else does. But I'm in the thick of it, and I have been for like I said, probably 6 weeks. And so that's been my biggest challenge. And it's like I just wish everything in my life didn't present itself as another opportunity for forgiveness, because come on. It just still comes back to I'm the one that has to do the work. I got to do the work. Can somebody just make it easy for me?
Well, here's the thing, Alicia, it will never end. And the reason why you have to do the work is because there's only you.
Oh, God.
Oneness.
Okay, Carl. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Alicia, you're the reason why we're all messed up.
Oh my God, Tim, that is a valid
That's what you
point.
need. Slap me, slap me.
Ask anybody that knows me, they'll tell you there's some truth to that.
Believe me, I am there with you.
Carl's
I'm
nodding his
imagining
head.
this, and I'm the nutcase that's vacuuming certain sections of the house like every 2 or 3 days, just to keep the kitty stuff down and, you know, the fur and everything else. So, God, I mean, yeah, I'd be like, hello,
Yeah.
you got to be here by Monday. I got to hear from you, or you're out of here.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's.
But I can't leave it open. And I feel like there's fear attached to that for me, because if I've known him for 25 years, he's done a lot of work for me. And so and in all fairness to him, I have not reached out to him. He hasn't reached out to me, but I haven't reached out to him. So I haven't even broached the subject because I kind of know where it's going to go.
I would do that. I would do that. Yeah.
What's that?
I would reach out, Alicia, I'd say, hey.
Oh, I will. It's on my
whatever his name is. Hey, Bill, you know, I'm living in like, I got a 1/4 inch of dust everywhere. Imagine you're living like this.
Tim, it's like, it's not a new conversation with him. Like I said, he's done this to me before.
It's just,
But I need, like I said, in all fairness, I have not yet taken that first step. It's like, if you want something done, go ahead and put it out there. And so I haven't put it out there to get his response. And who knows, he has a son that's relatively ill with some severe addiction issues. I don't know if something has happened in his life that's brought him out of the loop. So before I go off half cocked, I just want to put it out there and see where he's at. And so that's what I need to do. And that was on my list for last week, but I was like,
one thing,
I put it up. I'll do it this week. And
but I would, here's something, there's something I've been trying to get from somebody for literally 6 months. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it involves a little money that I could have got paid. And finally, the other night, something shifted, and I'm just saying, okay, I've given him now all this time. I mean, he could have done this in a few hours. I've given him months, and I'm going to see it done. And I went to him with the expectation that it's done. And I got this, I'm a photographer, and I got the images, the edited images last night.
Nice.
Ready to go on that one. So maybe try that with this guy. Just see it that he's got the time now, he's got the inclination, whatever. And
well, like I said, this is my week to pull it together and do some of these things hanging over my head, because I was gone. I just got back yesterday afternoon.
Right.
So I'm just working on the woosah because I was getting myself all spun up this morning. Then I saw the cardinal at my bird feeder. So it was my mom coming back to say, Alicia, woosah. So that's it.
Bless your heart.
That's awesome. Yeah. And so it's real life stuff like this that just pops up, right? And it does, and it happens again and again. And I've seen it in my own life with all of my relationships, whether it's with contractors or with my special relationship or with my kids, right? And it comes back again and again and again and again, because it really is just you, right? You're the only one that can change that. And here's the really interesting part is, once you do change the way you look at the world will change. And it might not seem to change to everybody else, but your experience of the world will change. And instead of being aggravated and agitated by things that others do, it won't even land on you like that anymore. You'll just walk lightly past it as if it was nothing. And
what they do or what they don't do.
Exactly, what they do or what they don't do. And the situations will come back again and again, because that's what the purpose of our brother is, right? To heal the dream, to heal the illusion. And your brothers will keep coming at you to give you the opportunities to heal the dream. And you know? It's,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah,
not
that's cool.
fun when you're in the thick of it. It's not.
No, it really isn't. It really isn't. I'm not liking
Right.
it a whole lot. But again, it comes back to I have faith. I trust that just like everything else, I'll move through it and it's already solved. It's already worked itself out. It's
Right.
already completed. And as I look around, I don't really believe it, but I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm gonna keep saying it.
The problem and the solution are together. So
Yeah,
bring the problem and
Yeah.
the solution back
Right.
to the same
Right.
point.
And there's always that quote, I think in Shakespeare, that says, the fault is not in the stars, but in ourselves.
Mm,
And it's not even a fault. It's just a matter of, like what you were saying there, to know that this is gonna pass. And sometimes for me, if I'm trouble like that, I can't go ahead and try to talk to that person, because I know it's not gonna come out pretty. So I have to reevaluate myself. How am I gonna approach this? What am I gonna say that is not gonna be offensive and yet it's gonna be effective?
Mhm. And again, when you go back to asking the Holy Spirit for help, that's when you get the right answer for everyone. Because whatever comes from your ego mind is not going to be the right answer for everyone. But there is a right answer for everyone.
Mhm. Yes.
It's hard to let go when you're used to being in control. It's hard to let go when you're used to doing everything yourself. Trust me, I know. I've been there.
And it is because, and I do feel very alone a lot of times because, here I am, I get this house that's way too big for me, this huge property. And here I am managing the whole thing by myself. It's like, and I keep trying to come back to, you're never alone.
Mhm.
You're never alone. And if you feel like you need something from someone else or something else, you have to give to yourself what you feel is missing. And it's an inside job. And I get all that, but I'm just tired.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Hey, I'll help you if you help me.
There you go.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that sounds
you
like an
want- you want
alliance.
projects, I got projects.
That's what we're doing right now.
Projects, so
That's,
my
yeah.
goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the next section to read is actually a new chapter. It's chapter 18, The Passing of the Dream,
Oh,
The Substitute Reality. And it's a couple pages long, and I'm a little hesitant to start reading it because I'm not sure we're going to
Oh.
have adequate time to discuss it.
mhm.
And since it is a new chapter, I kind of like to give it the time that it deserves and just see if there's any questions or any other conversations on the chapter we just read, which was forgiveness in the holy relationship, because that's a huge chapter.
It
Oh,
is.
yeah.
And I feel like I kind of monopolized the time for another one of Alicia's
No.
therapy sessions.
No.
But I
I mean,
think it is helpful for I love it when people tell stories about real life experiences or what they're feeling, because I personally connect to that,
mhm.
because this sometimes is wordy and there's not specific examples that apply
Yeah.
to life in 2022. So
Yep, exactly. I
everybody,
agree
for
with
all
you. And it's very helpful. So I appreciate you sharing. And I know sometimes it's hard to share because we don't want to feel that vulnerability.
Yeah.
But it is very helpful. So thank
Yeah, I
you for
really
doing that.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
In
look,
my own life, guys, I kind of had this, it's almost like a sick pride in the number of things on my list. I mean, the list is so long, it doesn't even get written down. It rehearses in my brain. And, I have my son-in-laws come here from Oregon, and my daughter, and he's offered, hey, I want to help you with some of these things. And then, what comes up for Tim is like, yeah, but I can't stick him with that. Well, wait, he offered, but I don't want to drive him away, and so there's all this internal stuff. There's the answer. And here's my daughter could actually help out with my mother-in-law, take it off of my wife a little bit. all that kind of stuff. And we're just so like, oh yeah, but I can keep doing it.
Tim,
My
that is a
God.
perfect example, of creating your own inner conflict. It's that
Yeah.
conversation going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
There you go.
I do it too, but I've gotten to the point now where I recognize when I'm doing that. So I try to just take a deep breath and clear that out, because
Hmm.
it doesn't do me any good to get spun up over the what ifs. You just
Yeah.
kind of,
Right.
make a choice and watch it unfold, let it unfold.
Just do it.
And
Yeah.
if that choice, you always have another choice. But the ping pong match in your head doesn't serve you.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. So that's like one little deal I'm dealing with. The projects are still there. It's now, do I really accept his help, and like, oh my God, yeah, Dad, you really got a lot. But his dad is just like me, and 700 miles from here, so he's got his projects. I mean, that's what I imitate his dad whenever I see him. Yeah, I got my projects. We'll die with the projects. So what? And it's a distraction. So it's like you got this huge project all around you, Alicia, and you haven't, I finally got some of the rooms painted here. So it's like, oh, finally, after all these years.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
but I'm my
my
own
list goes on and
contractor.
on.
You're at the mercy of somebody. So,
Yeah.
so we put it out there.
It's like Terry says, I'm going to do what I can, and to declutter and clean up, and
Yeah.
then reach out, find out where we're at, and then take it from there,
Yeah.
or not. We'll see.
That's all. Yeah, but it's obvious. I mean, if I was like that, having to live in this with you, I got a guy that's supposed to do my tubs, resurface my tubs. He hasn't got a hold of me. It's supposed to be at the end of this month, and I don't even have a price from him or anything.
Mhm.
I don't
Welcome to
even
my
know.
world.
Do I want him? I mean, if he hasn't,
I find the more projects I have, it pushes me to do the things I really want to do more. That pushes
Really?
me
Do you
to
There-
focus on my
tend to
artwork rather than
avoid the
anything
ones
else.
that you don't really want to do, and you do other things?
Yeah, I
I'm-
do the things I want to do,
Yeah.
not all the other things that I
the
have to do.
things that offend your sensibilities less get done.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I have a trip insurance claim from last August that I'm still dealing with, because every time I send them something, they send me something back. Well, we need this. So I send it, and we've been ping ponging back and forth, and I've gotten a couple of emails from that, and I can't even look at them because I don't want to have to do it yet again, but I have to. So I'm with Carl.
Right,
If I've got
right.
8 other things I can do besides deal with this damn insurance company, I'm going to do them first. And I have. So
Yeah.
but that adds to the clutter, Tim. That adds to the ping pong. Should I do? Oh my God, I don't feel
I
like it.
know, but I
This,
do
let
it
me
all
do
the
that.
time.
So,
I do it all. I know exactly where you are. Like, I
and
don't
as
wanna
I was
deal
sitting
with
at the
this one.
table this morning thinking about all these things, I was like, if I could just, once I get done with ACIM, I have a couple of things that absolutely have to be done. And then I'm going to make a list kind of in reverse order of the most offensive to the least offensive, and start with the ones that I am resisting the most and get them done. Cause I know that will help.
Yeah,
That will-
that'll definitely help
that
clear
will
your
help a
mental
lot.
Yeah.
space. Because you're just dragging that around with you.
Oh, hell yeah. It's my
Yeah.
specialty.
There's you just reminded me, and Carl, with your artwork, imagine this. In a restaurant in Carrollton, Georgia, it's right on the square. If anybody knows Carrollton, it's a cute little place. There's this painting of this guy. It's an old guy, and he's walking with this huge backpack on his back, and out of that backpack, there's like hundreds of skulls, and they're just falling out. And it's like, I remember, I'll never forget this painting, and it's kind of morbid, but I go, wow, look at, there's my project.
That's
Or
great.
all the other stuff, my grievances, my complaints, my excuses, oh, I could never do that. Yeah, I could learn to do it. I don't want to hire people because then I don't have a whole lot of money, and so I try to learn to do stuff myself as much as I can. So, you know, anyway, that's just me. That's just me. So stop dragging the sack. Pick up one skull and smash it.
And that's it. How do you eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time.
Bite
One
at a
bite at a time.
time.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah. My wife
make a
said,
list.
"Hey, how about I go for a walk?" I said, "All right."
Well, every time you take a bite, then go for a walk, and then come back, take another
Yeah.
bite, and go for another walk.
Get a reward. You got to have a reward, right?
Gotta have a reward. Yep. Yep.
So over the weekend, we watched this documentary. I think we actually talked about this briefly once in the group. It's I think Terry watched it. It's a documentary about mushrooms, and I
Yeah.
highly recommend it.
Fabulous.
If you
Carl
haven't.
brought it up. Fabulous fungi.
Yeah, so I highly recommend it. Not only if like you're just trying to eat better and whatever, but the bigger picture that's kind of coming back to me with this conversation today is that like if you watch it, it talks about the fact that at some point we were the same organism and humanity went one way and became humans, and fungus went another way and became mushrooms. And the thing that we have that we still have in common is the fact that the mycelium creates this network of communication the same way we're familiar with trees creating roots underground. Mycelium does that all over the earth. So it has this literal connective community or communication amongst itself. And that got me to thinking about how the brain does that and how humans are all connected to one great collective consciousness, and no thoughts are private, no ideas are original, copyright laws are just a joke in this physical reality. But my point about that is that like I've heard this, this theory, which I'm sure you all have heard too, is that we're in a game, we're playing a video game. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I also kind of laugh sometimes when we start talking about the metaverse and where this is going. It's because I'm like, oh my gosh, rich billionaires are literally just creating reality. Like it's right in front of our noses.
Yeah.
People who are not aware and not awake don't see that literally all we're doing is taking the human experience and making it into a digital form now, where you can think what you want it's going to happen. You can think that you want it to go to this place and you're going to get there. So we have to back that up and realize that in the game of life, when we choose to come to Earth, this physical bound reality that is so complex with duality, that's the video game. And when we're playing an actual video game, it's always us. We're first person. We contribute to our game, our level advancement, our bonuses. But just as video games are evolving, this is just something I'm familiar with because of my kiddos, right? Is that video games are becoming community based, where you do your part, but now you play with your friends and you build a village. You play with your friends and you protect your village, and you don't do all these things where you're creating this bigger thing than yourself. So the paradigm of the duality of the human existence is that I do exist for myself. I exist for my journey, my growth, my development. But at the end of the day, that is because the ripple effect is supposed to affect everybody else out there, so they can also see people through Christ consciousness and brotherly love and so on and so forth. So the heaviness that is the responsibility of us and the things that are important to us and all these conversations that we're having, that is, in my opinion, what you're feeling, like you had said, is that I believe that everybody who's more sensitive, everybody who's moving towards consciousness, we're all feeling this depression and anxiety cycle, because it's exhausting feeling like we're fighting for the greater good, but we're not supposed to be. We're just fighting for ourselves. And then it's anxiety because it's like, will the greater good come? Will we ever have peace on this planet? And it's like those things we have to shake off, because that's the duality in terms of that responsibility. But one last thing I want to say is that we picked the character for this game. So one thing I will say, woman to woman, Alicia, is that we have to remember that men run on a 24-hour cycle and women, feminine beings, run a 24 to 28 day cycle. So if we're feeling like lost and confused one week, it's because it is a whole week. It's not just in our heads that we're making it up. We need 1 week to be fully present. We need 1 week to fully retract. We need 1 week to completely incubate ideas. We need 1 week to do something completely different. So we have so many factors going on that we're not taking that into consideration, and then trying to balance out higher spirit in a physical body that just doesn't get it. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. Yes, exactly. So all of that just to say, please give yourself grace, because everything you said, one of us has been a basket case, if not, this week, this month, this year, whatever, and we're going to be there again. So just give
Thank you
yourself
for
grace
that.
and patience, because you're going to get through it.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Okay,
that. I
good.
appreciate it.
Wow, Rachel, that was
That was
amazing.
great.
I loved everything you just said, and thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that, because honestly, that was beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I dubbed you Saint
I-
Rachel.
Do y'all feel the mycelium connection?
Yes, I feel it. And
Feel
with
the
that,
mycelium connection.
it's 1:30. I think that's a perfect time to close and give a lot
Yeah.
of people a lot to think about, and you wrapped it up completely. So thank you.
Perfectly. And
Hey,
if
and I
you
wanna
haven't
see that
watched that
documentary.
documentary, watch it.
Yeah, it's good.
wonderful. Fabulous
recommend it.
Fungi
Mhm.
Fabulous Fungi, that's what it is.
on Netflix.
Netflix.
It's amazing.
Ah,
You can see it on YouTube too.
Mhm.
Mm,
And there's
Really,
a
really
website
good.
you can go to see it.
really good. All right, guys.
Thank you,
Wonderful.
everybody.
good.
Thank you. And
Thank you.
see you all next week.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right, and eat a lot of mushrooms.
Will do.
Yeah, you.
That's another conversation. Bye,
Okay,
guys.
bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.